Once my application was sent, I think it was about a 6 to an 8 week wait, but we were made aware it was going to be that length of time from the college. The lecturers had made us aware. When my application was sent, I was very nervous, very apprehensive. I also found myself continuously checking my UCAS website just for any updates. I knew I had a few weeks, but I kept going on to check.
Yeah, I was the same. Once my application was in, it was, you know, the the wait was just absolutely nerve wracking, and I was the same. I was checking UCAS all the time, but the best thing that I did was just keep reminding myself that I've tried my hardest with my application. It's away. It's in fate's hands now. So just put it to the back of your mind and carry on focusing on your studies. Don't kind of ruminate over it.
I think that having the studying to concentrate on can kind of help settle your mind on what you should be focusing on and not worrying about your application. I found that studying and having the support of the other people that were on my course really helped, because everybody was feeling the exact same way as me. For other people to share that made me feel a little bit normal, that I wasn't the only one and I was part of a group.
Yeah, it's definitely good to rely on your course mates for help. But
Yeah.
on the flip side as well, universities are just mysterious in the way that they work. So if your course mates start getting responses back and you don't hear back straight away, don't get disheartened, because I mean, some people were hearing back in 2 months, other people were waiting 4 months for a response, and it was just where they were in the pile, basically. So yeah, don't get too disheartened if you don't hear back and one of your friends has.
Some people on my course didn't get their offers as quickly as other people, but as time went on, they got their offers towards the end of the course. So it's very important, if you've not heard, just to stick in, because you don't know how the universities are going to be. But for some people, they got their offers weeks later. It was almost towards the end of our course, and the university had got back and said, we would like to offer you a position. So just stick in if you can. Keep your mind focused and stick in, because you will get answers. It's just a waiting game. Okay.
Nice.
After the interview, I was nervous. I kept thinking about it. I was thinking about the questions. I was thinking about my answers. I was listening to fellow students. I was listening to how they were feeling. But for myself, I was really apprehensive, maybe a little bit unsure as well. For the few days that I waited before I got my answer, I just kept reading the JARCAL. I kept referring back to the interview process, all of my research. But I got my acceptance 4 days after my interview, so I didn't have a very long wait, which I was grateful for. But for people that do have a wait, try not to let it affect your studies. Try not to let it affect you too much, because you've got studying to do, you've got other things to be focusing on. Once you've done it, and try and focus on something else, especially at your studies. I think the interview made me a little bit more determined to continue with where I was supposed to be in my swap course.
Yeah, I was much the same. So after the interview, I was really lucky that I heard back quite quickly. But those few days were absolutely nail biters. I don't think I slept very much. Again, the best advice I have is if you know that you've done the best that you can and that you researched and you prepared really well, then it's in fate's hands. So no amount of worrying is going to make it um, come quicker. So the best thing you can do, like Emily says, is just throw yourself into your studies. Lean on your course mates as well, because they're all likely going through the same thing. Just try not to think about it. Put it to the back of your mind until you get the email. Again, some people might hear back before others. We had some people that got accepted in 4 days, and then we had some people that waited 6 weeks, and they were eventually accepted as well. So just because you haven't heard back doesn't mean it's a rejection. So don't let that kind of defeat you either. Um, Universities are quite mysterious in the way that they handle the application process. So just keep waiting. try and put it out of your mind. Don't get disheartened if you don't hear back quickly, um, and you'll be all right.
With my offer, I had my offer, but other people on my course were still to go for their interview, and I found some of them were asking me for advice on how I've done, and I was as helpful as I could to other people, but I was very honest about it. I was like, I was nervous. I could feel myself shaking a little bit, but as you said, I put it away and was as professional as I could. And I was telling them all just to try and be the same because I know how nerve wracking it can be.
Yeah, and definitely try and be supportive of your course mates. It's it's great to celebrate your successes, but be mindful of the fact that your course mates as well, if they haven't heard back, that they might be on tenterhooks. So
Yeah.
um,
After I got my offer, I was very excited. I felt accomplished, a little bit more confident, and I was very happy to share the news with my family and friends.
yeah, when I got the offer, I'll be honest with you, I cried, and then I paced around my house just in shock for a little bit because uh, I was pinching myself. I kept going back on the UCAS website and just making sure that the offer was still there.
Yeah.
Um, but it was such a feeling of relief to know that everything that you'd worked for had paid off and that you'd got an offer. And telling your friends and family as well is the best feeling. Yeah, it was. I was over the moon.